Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Rahman Ali, University of Peshawar. In this lecture number 4 of the subject business research method, we are going to describe different types of business research. In this lecture, we will try to cover some of the topics like exploratory research, descriptive, correlational, causal, basic, applied, environmental, ground theory, and online research. From our last lecture, we are discussing business research, and in lecture number 3 we covered different functional areas of the business research. If you are interested to watch that video, you can visit this URL and you can subscribe the channel as well. So in this lecture we are going to discuss all these types that we mentioned in detail. The first type of research is exploratory research. This exploratory research is actually the process that we are using for our literature review or for literature survey. For example, we are going to start a research in use of mobile phone for business application, but we don't know that what type of e-commerce application are available over there. So what we will do in exploratory research, we will start exploration of the area of use of mobile phone or mobile application for mobile commerce activity. So this is a kind of investigation of the existing study. We will go to the literature, we will search the reports, we will research the magazines and the journals and the conferences, and we will talk to the relevant people, and we will try to know what is the exact situation. So we will identify, once we complete this survey, this literature survey of the existing method, we will be able to identify the problem, that what is the exact problem in the existing systems. So here we can say that why we do this. So the simple as that, to identify a research problem, that what kind of applications are currently available for using mobile commerce, but what are the limitation or what are the problems in those applications. So identification of that problem can be done by using exploratory research. The method that we are using to do this research, they can be categorized into informal qualitative approaches and formal qualitative approaches. How we can do it? We will go and search the magazine, journal, online articles and company literature on this topic of the use of mobile phone for e-commerce activity. Similarly, we will also have some discussion with the employees and the consumers and the management as well. Similarly, we can have interviews, focus group discussion, and some case studies. So these are the methods which are used for exploratory research, means literature survey, depth interview, focus group discussion, and case study analysis or pilot study. If we successfully complete the exploratory research, then what we will have in our hand at the end of a successful exploratory research, we will have the exact identification and the exact statement or definition of the problem, that what is the problem in the existing mobile e-commerce application, and how we will approach to this problem. To solve this problem, we will need some data or some technique So we will be clear that what type of data we will need to solve this problem, and similarly what methods or approaches which we can call as research best research design, we will have clear idea about that, and similarly we will have a clear research methodology that how we can solve this problem. So at the end of a successful exploratory research, we will be able to answer all these four questions. Now looking from a practical perspective, just see the use of one of the technique that how we can do exploratory research. So for that, nowadays we can see that Google Scholar, Science Direct, IEEE Explorer, and so many other platforms or online libraries are available which can help us in exploratory research. Just take the example of moving to the Google Scholar. I'm going to this is Google Scholar. I can move and search at over here. If you are not familiar with the Google Scholar, you can write scholar.google.com, and here you can explore about any topic. Just go and search impact of mobile commerce on businesses. So here a lot of literature is retrieved by this search engine Google Scholar, that mobile commerce for businesses, mobile commerce for e-businesses, mobile for micro businesses, and so on and so forth. And we can restrict this research, this literature, by specifying the filter. Mean if you are interested to look into the latest research in 2020, here you can see that the total number of records retrieved are 22,200. But if we are including some other and we are looking this in 2019, so this figure will be somehow different. And there are some other filter as well, that you can include those exclude those articles which are not cited, and you can also exclude the patent as well. Now you can see that this figure is going to change. So we can we can explore on this topic of impact of mobile commerce on businesses from the online research libraries. Similarly, we can also go and we can check some other libraries like Science Direct, and in Science Direct we can search, for example, impact of mobile commerce and e-business. And when I go and search this, I can see that 1014 research article that people have performed their research on this topic. The search engine, this library has retrieved us 1014 result, and same is the use of different filter, that we can filter that in 2020 the paper that have been accepted, the research that has been accepted by the research community in 2020 but will be published in proceeding format in 2021. There are 4 articles, and similarly we can if we are interested to include 2020 research as well, now it's 106 article that are available on this topic. So this kind of research is one of the method which is used for exploratory research. This is one of the technique, literature review or literature survey. Now let's see the other kind and types of research and businesses, that is descriptive research. So descriptive research tells you about the description of the current phenomena that you are going to discuss. It tells you and tries to answer the question like how, what, when and where, but it will never answer you that why it is like this. So in this research, in descriptive research, the trends in data and the comparison of one series of data is done with another series of data, and some characteristic of the data is described. By characteristic we mean that if you go and look into the descriptive statistics from the subject of statistic, then we can see the mean, median, mode, quartile, theodices, and so forth. A lot of characteristic of the data we can explore and we can research in this descriptive research. So some of the example is that if you are going to compare the performance of some student, or if you are going to classify some scientific classify objects based on some scientific method, or if you are going to know the human behavior and their response to your product, then this is also a descriptive research. Then how we can do this research? For this research we can use so many methods: observational method, case study method, survey method, and we can collect the data and then we can extract descriptive statistics from that data, and we can come up with some conclusion that what are insights in this phenomena or in this situation which we are going to research. Some of the examples of descriptive research is that comparing student performance. If you are going to compare the result of these commerce students and two subject, mathematics and business English, and you are comparing the student performance in these two subjects, so this will come under descriptive statistics. And similarly, if you are going to classify animals into their different into their different classes, mean animal class, plantar class, fungi, bacteria, alga, and you are going to find a new plant and then identify based on the characteristic and feature of that plant and assign that to any one of these main classes. This is also a scientific this is called scientific classification and come under descriptive research. Similarly, if you are going to analyze and study behavior of the customer, that what they like, what they dislike, and how they behave, and what are their opinion, etc. about the product that we have launched in the market. So based on that you can set a strategy and you can target the customer accordingly. So there are 9 different kind of behavior of the customer that you can track in the descriptive research and accordingly structure your business strategy. Similarly, in case of forensic studies, you can describe crime scenes from the data. If you have a lot of data, you can go and dig down to that data and can see that what's the situation and what are the common pattern in the criminal's activity. So if we go and see the descriptive research from a practical perspective, then just go and take one example, comparing student performance and calculating descriptive statistics for them. So these are some of the descriptive statistics that Excel support us to calculate from a data. We can have mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, sum counts, this and that, and let's see that how we can use this descriptive statistic in Excel. Just go I have some data of the students, and this data is of 1000 students. I have data from 1000 students, gender male and female, and ethnicity, their parental educational level, if they have lunch, what will be their test preparation score, math score, reading score, and writing score. So I'm going to compare and calculate descriptive statistics for comparing the student performance on these three tests: math score, reading score, and writing score. So how we can do it? How we can describe this data using descriptive research by using descriptive statistics. So an Excel, if you are familiar, you know Excel provide you the data analysis tool, and in that analysis tool you can go and you can find the descriptive statistic over here, and here you can specify that what's the range for which I am going to calculate or compute the descriptive statistics. So I am showing these three columns that I am comparing the performance of these 1000 students based on these three kind of scores, test score. So I specified the range. Here I specified the range till end of this 1000 record, and here I specified that this data includes column, and I'm interested in summary statistic. So when I ask the Excel to compute this statistic for me for these three kind of scores, so they are computing it. For math, all these descriptive statistics have been calculated, and these are the values. That for math, the mean score of the student was 66, standard error is this one, mean and mode is 65 and 66, and the range of the marks is from 0 to 100. So this is the statistics for math score, this is the statistics for reading score, and this is the statistics for writings test. So from this data, the school management can best design their strategy, that what are the weak points and what are the strong points of the student, and where we have to focus more. So this kind of research is called descriptive research. There is another type of research which is called correlational research. In correlational research, what we do, that how one variable is associated with another variable. For example, if I study more, I will get higher GPA, and if I waste time more, I will get definitely I will get low GPA. So this kind of relationship can be find out between two variables using correlational research, and this is very much important in everyday life. In our businesses, we can see that if we are increasing the sale price, what will be the amount of sale, what will be the profit, what will be the impact on the profit. Definitely, if we are increasing the sale price, then the amount of sale will decrease. So whether it's really like this or not, we have to take help of the correlational research. And in correlational research, what we do, we find out this relationship between two variables, and this relationship can be either negative or it can be positive, or it can be zero. By negative, we mean that if we are increasing one variable, value of one variable, the other will decrease. And in positive, if we increasing one variable, then the value of the second variable will increase. So how? Just take two variable, that we have cars and we have accidents. So if the number of accidents increases, then the value of the auto of the car will decrease. If there are more chances of accidents in a car, then the people will not like to buy this car. Similarly, if the accidents, if the ratio of the accident is low, then the insurance company will charge you less for insurance cost. But if the accidents ratio for a particular person or a particular kind of car that is more as compared to other, then the insurance company will charge you more cost. So there is a positive relationship, mean that if you are increasing one thing, the other will be increased. And in zero correlation, it means that there is no relationship of one variable on another variable, and we cannot say that they are dependent on each other. So what are the aim of this correlational research? We find the relationship between two variable, and we also need this to find the causal relationship between two variable. If we have some we are suspected about the causal relationship, then we take help of the correlational research to verify this kind of relationship. So correlational research can be done, or we can use some tools from statistics, which is Pearson correlation coefficient, candle rank correlation, Spearman, and point biserial correlation. These are the different models that are used for correlational research. So just go and try one or two out of them, that how we can use correlational research by taking some practical example. So I'm going to take the scenario that if you are if you have physical activity, what will be the impact on your blood pressure? I'm going to find out the relationship between these two phenomena. So let's practically practice this one, and I'm going to show this relationship in Excel. I have this data. I have 10 students or 10 person whose names are Anwar to Muslim, and they have physical activity on daily basis. They use 60 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, this and that. They have running or jogging or walking kind of activity each and every day. So what will be the impact on their blood pressure? They have blood pressure value like this. Now we want to find out whether there is a correlation between that this blood pressure is dependent on physical activity or not, and if it is, then how much, whether this relationship is strong or weak, or there is no relationship between these two variables. So how we can do it? Just we discussed over here. There are different methods that we can use it for finding out this correlation. So one is we are going to practice Spearman and Pearson. Spearman and Pearson correlation. So let's practice it. I'm going to directly use it. I'm going to for the first one, for the Spearman correlation, what we can do, we will have to rank this, rank physical activity, and I'm going to rank blood pressure, BP. So how I can do it? Excel provide us some ranking function, and one of those function is average ranking. I'm going to rank this data, physical activity. I'm going to rank these people with respect to physical activity. So it give me the option that how I can use this. So I will take the first value and I will use the comparison. I will use the first value to compare with all the rest of the value and give me its ranking position. And here 0 is used for descending. If I am interested to use this to show the data in descending order, I will use 0. And here I would prefer to lock this, to lock these values. So I'm using the dollar symbol to lock it, and when I will hit the enter key, this will give me the ranking. That Anwar is on the top. He has performed maximum physical activity, and similarly Zonash is at the bottom, who has only 10 minutes of physical activity, so she is ranked as 10. Similarly, I can rank these people with respect to this ranking with respect to BP. So I am using this BP first value and using as the reference value and putting the rest to compare it, and again I will use to show me this value in descending order. Again I will lock this value by using the dollar symbol. Now from the blood pressure perspective, this Hamid was ranked as 10 and this Muslim was ranked as 1. We are not going to the semantic meaning of this ranking, because maybe it will give us some other meaning which is not medically accurate, but we are going to demonstrate that how this correlation can be find out. Now for the first one that we talk, Spearman correlation coefficient. Spearman correlation. What I am going to do, I will compare these two ranks and I will use the correlation formula provided by Excel. I will specify that showing this rank of the physical activity, comma, rank from BP, that compare these two and find out the correlation. So it has given me the value, and it shows the negative sign shows that the correlation, that the relationship which exists there, that is negative. By negative we mean that if the physical activity increases, then the blood pressure will decrease. That if a person is regularly performing physical activity, walk, jogging, exercise on daily basis, then his blood pressure will never increase. This shows, this negative symbol shows me like this, and the value which is 0.75, it is near to 1, so it come under the strong correlation. By strong correlation means that there is always a good impact of the physical activity on the blood pressure. And if I want to use Pearson correlation, I can use over here the correlation function of the Excel and apply it directly to these values without ranking them, like we did for the Spearman. And in this case there is a very little changes, little difference in these two values, and this is also negative and strong correlation. So from this you can see over here that this was the physical activity, this was the blood pressure, and we rank the physical activity, we rank the blood pressure, and then we used correlation to find out the relationship between the physical activity and blood pressure using these two, Spearman correlation coefficient and Pearson correlation, and both tells me that there is a strong negative correlation exists between these two, that if you which can be interpreted as that if you increase the physical activity, it will have good impact on your blood pressure and it will maintain your blood pressure. We can also graphically show this relationship between this physical activity and blood pressure. I am going to have a scattered chart of this one, and this scattered chart, now we can add access and data to this value, and we can also put a trend line on this one. So if this one is physical activity and this is BP, then this show me that this physical activity has good impact on the blood pressure. If physical activity is somehow 2 minutes or 10 minutes, then the blood pressure is high, and as we increases the physical activity, this blood pressure will decrease and it will keep the blood pressure of our body maintained. So this is how we can use this is how we can use. Let's go back to our slide where we were. Yes, we were here. Correlational. So there are some other scenario as well, and you can practice practically on this. That normally we see that wealthy people are impatient. So you have to find out this correlation whether this is true or not. And similarly, if you have more earning, you will have more children. So you can check it, and if you have to-do list, people have their list of activities for each and every day, and based on that they have a level of stress. If this to-do list is minimum and they maintain it, then the stress level will be low. So you have to find out this relationship as well. And similarly, violence causes brain hemorrhage. If there is domestic violence, it will have some if you have violence, it has domestic violence, it will have some value on the brain hemorrhage. So we looked all these scenarios, and you have to practice this scenario. There is another research which is called causal research, and there is a very little difference between the correlational research and causal research. Causal research tell you that if there is one event how it will affect the another, how B is affected by causation in A. So if there is any cause, there will be an impact, and if there is any cause in B, it will impact A. So this kind of relationship can be found out and can be determined in causal research. Just see to this example. If you have more money, you will be happy. So more money will have, if this is the cause, it will impact and it will have good effect on your pleasure and your happiness and good health. So such kind of relationship can be find out, such kind of association can be find out using causal relationship. But keep in mind that in correlation we just find out the relationship between two variables. We are not going to look into the effect. We just see two variables, that whether this variable depends on another variable or not. That's the task of the correlation. But here in causal research we have a comparison. We have a comparison that if there is any change in A, it will affect B. Here are some examples. If there is a person and who is using free weights and exercise machine to keep balanced composition of his body, then investigating the effect of free weights versus exercise machine to know the body composition. So this is a kind of causal relationship, and it is called causal research. But definitely we know that only exercise machine and use of free weights are not the parameter or the factors which have impact on your body composition. There are some diet plan and aerobic condition and some other condition as well that can have impact on your body composition. If we want to know the impact of this causality, then we categorize the causal research into its three levels, and the first one is absolute causality, conditional, and contributing. In absolute causality we see that the cause is necessary and sufficient to produce changes, and conditional means that causes is necessary but not sufficient. It's the condition, it's necessary but not sufficient to bring about an effect. Similarly, contributory means that cause neither necessary nor sufficient. So from the intensity perspective, the causality has these three: absolute, conditional, and contributory degrees. And here we can see the difference between correlation and causation from this perspective. We have two scenarios. Some of the people, when they smoke, they also drink. So this is called, it means that if you are a smoker, then you will be drinker as well. So this kind of relationship is come under the correlation research. But if we look into the another scenario, that if you are a smoker, then it will lead you to lung cancer. The probabilities are high. So this is causation, that smoking will lead you to lung cancer. Similarly, if there is a scenario, you are trying to send text messages to your friend, and the phone is not responding. So you are looking into the problem, that what's the reason. So text messaging failure and mobile freezing, this will give you that there is a relationship between these two, that if the mobile is hanged or it is freezed, your message will not be sent, and there is strong correlation between these two things. But knowing that why it is so, why the message is not sent, apparently it is because of the mobile hang. But mobile hanging is caused by some other factor, and that is lack of RAM. That the RAM installed in your mobile phone, that is not enough to support so many applications and to send this kind of messages. So lack of RAM leads to freezing or hanging up your mobile. So this is causation. But the relationship between that the failure of delivery of messages and your mobile hanging is correlation. There are some other example as well. You can see it from here, that if new web design is implemented, then the web page traffic will increase. So you have to look into the scenario, that what is causality in this case and what is correlation. If you have implemented a good interface design of your website, then the people will come more. So you can investigate, you have to investigate that it is given over here. Similarly, if you are uploading new app store images, if you have any application and you have uploaded it into app store, then the number of download will increase to twofold if you are changing the image of the app. So what is causality in this case and what is correlation in this case? Similarly, if you are sending push notification on Friday to people about something to do, what they will get annoying. It's annoying, and they will what they will do, they will uninstall your application. So if you are teasing someone by sending notification on each Friday, they will get bored and they will uninstall. So what is this? How we can say that this is causality or this is correlation? And if both situations are there, you have to look into this example and understand it. Similarly, increase in links to your website. If people are coming more to your website and more links have been used by people in their own website of your web page, then it will rank your web page, and search engine will have good result for that. So what kind of relationship between these two things exist? You have to look into the causality and correlation perspective. Similarly, we have another applied research, and applied research is used to solve the problem faced by the society. If there is COVID-19, so this is the problem, and its solution is to introduce the vaccine. So we will have applied research for this one. If you have some light issue, you have to introduce some, for just for example, you have to come up with a solution of energy saving bulb. You have the problem of energy in your country, so you have to change the light system into energy saver system, and this is you have to start research to this energy efficient devices. So this is an example of applied research. If you have some problem in agricultural crop, you have to introduce new pesticides. If there is trididal, you have to come up with some strategy that how you protect your crop from these trididal. There is another research which is called experimental research, and it's used in laboratories. And what they do, they calculate and manipulate and measure value for some variable. Just for example, they are calculating pus cell in your blood. So this is a kind of computation. So first you propose a hypothesis, mean that this patient is suffering from malaria. Then you will have to look into the values of some of the variable. And for example, the variable as pus cell, you have to calculate the number of pus cells, or the reason that why this infection has been done, and you will manipulate and you will measure those values, and you will compare with the standard value, that this is the normal range and this is the abnormal range, so you can come up with some conclusion. So this kind of research is called experimental research. It always be in the form that the effect of more viruses will lead to COVID-19. And why we use this research? To determine relationship between two phenomena or two variable, that if COVID-19 is increasing, the death ratio will be increasing. Experimental research, just laboratory research is an example of it. And if you are looking at the impact of the drug on dementia patient, so this is also an experimental research. If you are looking into the ethyl alcohol and sanitizer, this is also an experimental research. And if you are measuring or counting the number of bacteria in a sample, this is also an experimental research. There is another research which is called grounded theory research. And in grounded theory research, it's a theoretical and systematic research methodology, in which you starts from just you come up with a hypothesis, and then from hypothesis you go to introduce, or you go to have some theory. So how you can do from a hypothesis to a theory? It's not that much simple. You have to use some systematic methodology from hypothesis to data collection, design, encoding of the data, then theoretical sampling, analysis, and the result generation. And this process will be repeated many times, and once it is the fact is established, you will have a theory at the end. So such kind of research is called grounded theory research. And there is another one which is called basic research. So basic research is in basic research you are going to practice and research on some fundamental phenomena or natural phenomena. Just for example, you are going to look into the how this universe began. If you are going to have a research on this, what is neutron, and what are the symptoms of corona, and what are the factors which causes malaria, and what are the symptoms which increases blood pressure. So these are the examples of basic research. Nowadays, with the increase in internet and IoT technology, each and every organization has its own website. So rather than going physically to the market, serving the market, collecting the data, and then analyzing that and changing the business strategy, doing all these things are no more mandatory for having a business research. You can have the idea of using internet based or web based research. How you can do? You can collect data from the websites, and on website you can engage your customer and your client. They will give you feedback in the form of reviews, and they will give you some comments, and you can collect their opinion using some sentiment analysis, machine learning and data mining and artificial intelligence technique. You can mine those reviews, and from that you can identify that how we have to move and how we have to change our business strategy. So different methods are used on the web: online survey, pop-up messages that normally come to you, and you respond to those pop-up messages, and actually responding to those pop-up messages is your feedback to the owner of that website, that they use those feedback for their strategic planning. And some of the website, they have cookies behind the scene that they track your activity, that what kind of product you are visiting, which pages you are visiting, on which page how much time you take. So all these information are collected, and then business analytics or business intelligence technique are used to extract hidden pattern from those data, and that will give you some clue for future research, and you can predict and forecast your business outcome. So this was all about different types of business research. In our next lecture we will have discussion on the research processes, business research process or business research methodology and its different phases. So you should be in touch by subscribing to this channel for upcoming videos. If you have liked this lecture, you can subscribe it, you can comment, and you can recommend to your relevant friends. Okay, thank you.